Good morning, guys. We are here with the two gentlemen from Car Crazy and Sports Lovers Paradise, I believe is what the other one's called, unless I'm mistaken.
Correct.
We're going to ask you a few questions about it. It's a new game that's just come out here in South Africa. Gavin himself actually designed the Car Crazy one, and well, both of them actually. But he's actually going to explain a little bit more about each one. So I'm gonna hand over to him and let him explain a bit more about what's going on. So tell us a little bit more about, let's start with the Sports Lovers Paradise.
Okay, I came up with Sport Lovers Paradise because I perceived that there was a gap in the market. Hadn't really seen anything like this in the country. The closest to a trivia question and answers on sport was maybe the one category out of the 6 categories in Trivial Pursuit.
Yes.
This is a sports game where I have chosen my 3 favourite sports: cricket, tennis and golf. And I've designed 200 questions and answers on each of those 3 sports. It's a pretty simple game to play. You basically move around.
I don't know if the camera can see it, but let's see if we can get the camera to see it. She's just going to turn it quickly. There we go.
You pick that up. Okay, you move around the playing board where you have the cricket, tennis and golf squares as you go around in the same consecutive order going around. So if you started off dicing a 4, you would move 1, 2, 3, 4 would take you on a cricket square.
Okay.
That would mean that you are forced to answer a cricket question, but if it were to be your least favourite sport, you could choose a 1-point question. This is a 1, a 2 and a 3-point question. If you landed on tennis and tennis were to be your favourite sport, you might want to choose a 2 or a 3-point question.
Yes.
So basically it is for 2 to 4 players or teams, which is nice because if you've got a crowd of 6 people, you could have 2 teams of 3 or 3 teams of 2, and you each take it in turns to answer a question. Unlike Trivial Pursuit, if you get the question right, you don't get to answer another question and player moves to the next player. You move around the board, you get the number of points based on the questions you've answered, and the first player or team to get to 30 points is the winner. And then I've brought in a second game. Game 2 is a little different. You don't move around the playing board. All you do is you choose at the beginning of the game your favourite sport between cricket, tennis and golf. It is permissible if there were 3 players to all choose the same sport, and in turn you get to answer 10 questions on that favourite sport of your choice, and after the 10 questions the player with the most points is the winner.
Oh, okay. So it's actually pretty basic to understand.
Yeah. The actual gameplay is pretty basic.
It's basically jump in and go.
The questions when you get to the 3-point questions, the green questions can be pretty hectic. Some of them are even 2-part questions.
Okay.
And you have to get both parts right to get the 3 points. There are also, what I omitted to mention is there also are penalties and rewards cards in the game, 5 for each of the points categories. It's similar kind of concept to the community chest and chance you'd get in Monopoly, just to add a bit more excitement and variety to the game.
Okay.
Otherwise, like I say, it's pretty simple. It's a question of accumulating points based on answering either 1, 2 or 3-point questions, and first player to get to 30 points. If you have a time limit, if you have a time constraint before you start playing, you can choose to have a time limit in the game, and after the time has elapsed, the player with the most points would win and wouldn't have to wait to get all the way to 30 points.
Awesome. Okay, now we're gonna have a little bit of a chat about your second game, which is the performance cars games, or the German car and the performance car game, and we're going to talk about how that actually relates to Trump. So shall we turn and face the camera again?
Yes, sure.
Don't worry, we'll cut all these parts out. We'll do the whole editing, and it's all going to be set up properly in post.
All right. Okay.
All right. So let's. Is the camera facing the right way now? Awesome. Okay. So let's get on. Ask a few questions about the performance in German cars and how this actually relates to Trump cards, but not, if that makes any sense.
All right. Trump cards has been around since the 1980s, since I was a teenager. It was a popular game, but I felt could often get a bit boring. And there were only 5 or 6 categories on the Trump cards. Categories as in, categories as in the different items that you could actually choose. Top speed of the car, the mass, the length, things like that. So what I've done is I have come up with 3 games in one for performance cars and German cars. only game 1 of my 3 games is a crib in the original Trump Cards games.
Okay.
But I have expanded the number of categories from 5 or 6 that Trump Cards had, right up to 14 categories, which actually makes a lot more items that you can call out. And then I have brought in games 2 and 3 are unique and brand new games. They are my own invention. And game 2 is a particularly exciting game because you're actually allowed to cheat. You can lie and overstate any of the figures on your card if you perceive that you've got not such a good card. Because if you've got a really good card, you wouldn't need to take the risk of cheating because obviously there are accompanying penalties.
Yeah.
So if you have a really good card, you would just choose from your normal card. If you have what you consider maybe an average or below average card, you can overstate. Now, game 2, the line game, unfortunately, can only be played with 2 players. So, for example, if you lie and overstate one of your figures, your opponent's got to decide whether he thinks you've told the truth or whether you've lied. If he challenges you, you've got to show your card, and if you have lied, the penalty is you've got to give him your top card plus your second card.
Yeah.
Whereas if he challenges you and you show your card and you actually have not lied and not overstated, he's got to give you his top card and his second card. And then game 3, I have brought in a points category. The points is calculated utilizing all 14 pieces of data, the figures for all 14 card items or pieces of data on the card make up the point score. What is nice there is with game 1, if you had, for example, a half-an-hour time limit, when the half an hour elapses, all you would do is count the cards and the player with the most number of cards wins. Okay. Whereas with game 3, instead of counting the cards, you add up the points. So you can conceivably, in fact, when I played with my younger son recently, I had 15 cards after the time limit elapsed. He had more than me, he had 17 cards, but I actually beat him because my 15 cards accompanying points accumulated to more than the points on his 17 cards. Okay. So that's pretty much these 2 go. And awesome, yeah. Must I mention price of that?
You're more than welcome to mention price.
Okay, so I'm offering these games, remembering that each one is a 3 games in one. I'm offering it for a very reasonable price of 100 Rand per game. And I have a special at the moment where if you're prepared to give me 5 referrals of people you know who are car lovers who might be interested in purchasing my game, I'm offering you the game at 30 Rand off, 30% discount. You can buy the game for 70 Rand each.
That's really, really awesome, actually. Are there any more in the future that you're looking at actually building? Any more games that you're looking at building?
Well,
like building onto the cars and
yes.
aircraft and ships
well, not aircraft, because I'm a car lover and a sport lover, and hence the games that I've come up with. But what I did decide when I was going to do this is I was going to start initially with German cars and performance cars, and if they become popular, I'm then going to go number 3 that I'd already considered doing, which I will also do. Just got to buy the data in order to be able to do it. Okay. Is the 3rd game I was going to choose SUVs and 4x4s, the 3rd game. And then the 4th trump card, well, the 4th game would be supercars. Cars like Porsches and Lamborghinis and Ferraris.
Okay, awesome.
So there would be a set, and then I think if it got to the stage where they were popular, and I did produce the other 2 games, the 4x4s, SUVs and supercars, I would then be able to offer also a 4-in-1 where you could buy all 4 at a discounted price.
Okay, that's really awesome. Okay, cool. Well, Gavin, thank you very much for actually explaining what's going on with this game. I'm sure some of our fans out there actually really do love these kinds of games. I know that I was one of them when I was a kid.
Yeah, and please contact me, and there are delivery options at very reasonable prices. Okay. You can actually come and either collect the games from my house in Sydenham, northern suburbs of Johannesburg. Okay. Else, I actually deliver on a Tuesday morning or afternoon to your work, or Tuesday evening to your home, and I charge a very low 1 Rand per kilometre for the round trip.
Okay, that's
literally
really awesome.
Just covers my petrol.
That's perfect. That's actually really awesome. All right, well, guys, as you heard it, straight from the gentleman over here, we will leave all the details in the box below. And if you like what you see, get hold of the guys. I mean, they'd love to actually give you some of these things. This is really awesome products. I like them. So anyway, that's it from the guys from Car Crazy and Sport Crazy. You guys have a great one. Thank you very much for interviewing with us.
Thank you.